Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back. So this video is going to be a special video because this video is all about my lupus story, and a part of my lupus story involves celiac disease and fibromyalgia. I am going to give y'all a real raw story, and I'm going to share things with y'all that I probably never have shared before. Some of you may know that I try to do my lupus story every year to give y'all an update on how I am doing with my lupus. So I don't remember how that update went last year. A lot of you may know that I just recently got diagnosed with celiac a year ago, so I was dealing with all of that. But I am here to tell you guys my lupus story from start to where we are at today. Everything that I have went through from me finding out I had lupus, and just things that I went through that lupus caused me. Just everything that I have dealt with while having lupus before I got diagnosed and everything. So let's go ahead and jump right into this story. So 2015. My husband and I decided to have a baby, another baby, should I say. My husband and I, we really wanted to try for a boy, and we already had our girl, so we was like, yeah, let's try for a boy. And Karaya was constantly asking for a brother or a sister. She wanted a brother or a sister so bad. So I wanted to give my baby and my husband what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know. And I was feeling it. I was like, yeah, my husband is asking me for another baby. I'm about to give this man a baby. So anyway, we didn't have to try very hard to get pregnant. We got pregnant instantly. And you know, I went to the doctor, and that's when everything went left. I went to the doctor, and it was so sad because me, Corey, and Karaya was in the room, and the doctor basically did the sonogram. The screen is, you know, up there. We can everybody can see, and it was a sac, but it was no baby in the sac. So that was really devastating. So I'm gonna try to tell this story in detail without being too long-winded, because it is a long story over a span of years, but I do want to hit the most important parts of everything that I went through. So yeah, so right then and there I knew that I had the miscarriage. We scheduled a DNC, and a couple of days later I got the DNC done. After I got the DNC, you know, I went and sat and talked to my doctor, and she was just like, okay, so your blood work came back really bad, and we need to figure out what's going on. And when she said that, she also asked me, did I know anybody in my family that had lupus? And I was like, or did I know if anybody in my family had lupus? And at that moment, the only person that I knew that had lupus was my cousin's daughter. She had just found out she had lupus a couple of years ago, and before that we have never even heard of lupus, didn't know what lupus was, any of that. So I was like, oh my god, my little cousin has lupus, and she just found out not too long ago. And I was like, do you think that's what it is? And she was just like, well, we're going to check. She sent me to an oncologist, and they took so much blood, it was not even funny. But they did narrow it down to lupus. So lupus is what I had, and lupus is also what ended my pregnancy. So lupus basically attacks your body. So if you got lupus, lupus is basically attacking your own body. So it's your body attacking itself. And when I got pregnant, the lupus attacked my body. It attacked the baby, and it didn't have a chance. Now my doctor did say that I would be able to have a baby while having lupus. It's a lot of people in this world that have had babies that has lupus and have had successful pregnancies while having lupus. And so she said it is possible, and she was just like, let me know if you want to have a baby, and I'll, you know, give you the best plan of action, and you know, it'll just be a very high risk pregnancy, and I'll let you know how we'll move from there. So I was like, okay, but I was traumatized at that point again, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not even trying to have another baby. I'm one and done, and that's what it is going to be. So that was in 2015. The following year, 2016, I had, before I skipped to the following year, so when I had found out I had lupus, a lot of things started making sense to me about what was going on with my body, because it was a lot of things that was happening to me that I have no idea what was going on. Like, for one, I had a really bad rash on my hand, and they thought it was eczema. I have gotten misdiagnosed with a lot of things, and that's one thing about lupus is you will get misdiagnosed, because lupus mimics a lot of things, mimics lupus, and lupus mimics a lot of things. So when it comes to autoimmune, it's like a lot of things mimic each other, and they can misdiagnose you with certain things. And one thing is the rash that I had on my arm, on my hand. They kept saying that it was eczema, so they was giving me stuff to treat it, which it did help treat it, but it wasn't eczema, it was a lupus rash. Anyway, also after I had Karaya, I had put a perm in my hair like a couple of months after I had Karaya. I waited the normal time frame that you are supposed to wait when you perm your hair. I know a lot of people don't perm their hair no more, but you know, relaxer or whatever. But I put a relaxer in my hair, and my hair fell out. Like, I had so many bald spots in the top of my head, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I thought it was from a bad perm or a bad relaxer, but come to find out it was from lupus. Lupus took my hair out and gave me alopecia. So moving forward, now that y'all got those tidbits of, you know, the rash and my hair falling out, that was happening before I even found out I had lupus. So those were some symptoms, and other symptoms too, like just little things, but those were some symptoms that I had that I didn't know that was lupus related, but it was. Now moving forward to 2016, I had a job, my first real big time job. I was working at Humana. I had my own little desk, my own little cubicle, you know what I'm saying, doing my thing. And I was working there, and one day when I was at work, I was like, my stomach was hurting. I felt like I wanted to throw up. I felt like I had to use the bathroom. Long story short, I came home, and I was laying in the bed next to my husband. I think he was like getting ready to go to work, and I was just rolling back and forth, like my stomach hurt so bad. Ooh, I think I'm about to have to try to go to the bathroom. And I get up after rolling around, and he just looking at me like, are you okay? And so I get up and I go to the hallway, and I just fall. I fall and I black out. I pass out, black out, and you know, him and Karaya come and run to me, and they like, what's going on? You know, like, what is, like, he was like, you know, you just passed out. Like, he woke me up, was like, you know, you just passed out. Anyway, he ended up rushing me to the hospital. When we get to the hospital, I pass out, I think like 2 more times, either 1 or 2 more times before I actually got back to the emergency room. The hospital was so stupid. They told me to sit down. Like, I told the lady I passed out, and she was supposed to make sure I went straight back. Instead, she told me to sit down and have a seat. It was just so crazy. But anyway, I get back to the back. My blood pressure was so freaking low that the bed was tilted. Like, my feet was tilted towards the ceiling, and my head was down towards the floor. Like, I was down near laying like at a slope, because my blood pressure was so low. I almost died. So what happened was, I had an ectopic pregnancy. My tubes have ruptured. My left fallopian tube had ruptured, and the problem was I was internally bleeding for days. I was internally bleeding so bad that I thought I was on my period. When they checked me and did everything they had to do, the man came back and told me that I was pregnant. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, I just got off my period. And he was like, that's impossible because you're pregnant. And he was like, it was in your tube and your tube ruptured and we have to get you into emergency surgery because you are internally bleeding. I was like, what? Crazy. So they didn't say that had anything to do with the lupus. So, but that is what happened. So that was the second miscarriage that I had, and that was just crazy because, like I said, I wasn't trying to have no babies after what had happened the year prior. And so that was a complete shock. I had no idea that I was pregnant at all, and that was a complete shock. So I had to get emergency surgery for that. So in 2017, I ended up having to get my gallbladder removed, and I got misdiagnosed with that as well because for a few years I was having really bad stomach problems where at first I didn't notice how I was triggering myself to have these problems, but I would have, my stomach would start hurting so bad that it would bring me to my knees. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it had anything to do with lupus or anything, but my stomach was hurting so bad. I went to the doctor about it and it was like, oh, that's just acid reflux, just take some acid reflux medication. I was doing that for a very, 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 very long time until one day I remember I ate some like wings or something. I ate some wings and it had like a whole bunch of different sauce on it. It was just like some really good wings that was bad for you, you know what I'm saying? And the next that like in the middle of the night, I got up to the most horrible stomach pain I've ever had in my life. It was so bad, and at this time my husband, he worked third shift, so he was not home. So I waited until he got home. When he got home, he was so sleepy, so I called my cousin to come and get me and take me to the hospital because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna have, like, I can't drive and I'm not gonna have my husband drive while he is like so sleepy like this. Ain't no way. So I called my cousin. She takes me to the hospital and they figure out that it was my gallbladder. After all this time of me being in pain for years with this crazy stomach pain, it turns out to be my gallbladder. So I ended up having to get my gallbladder removed, and that was either between 2017 2018, I believe. Then after that, we moved to Florida in 2019. 2019 we moved to Florida, and I was back on birth control at this time. I was actually taking the Depo shot, and I know the Depo shot is very controversial. Is controversial. Like, a lot of people like don't ever take the Depo shot. A lot of people love the Depo shot. I didn't have any issues with the Depo shot. I actually was on the Depo shot for longer than I needed to be on it, and I had no idea until I moved to Florida, and my doctors was like, you've been on this Depo shot for far too long. You have to come up off of it, and because it's actually messing with my lupus. And so it was affecting my lupus in a negative way, and also it made me have osteopenia. Now, if you don't know what osteopenia is, it's like a lighter version of osteoporosis. So I have osteopenia, which is like, the only cure that they said that I have is to exercise and make sure I'm taking a lot of calcium. So that is another thing, having osteopenia on top of all of the other shit that I'm going through. But anyway, so I gets off of birth control. My doctor tells me the only birth control that I can take that will not, trigger my lupus is either I want to say this right, the IUD or the Nexplanon, which goes in your arm. The IUD, I think it's IUD. It goes up your vagina. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm not comfortable with neither one of those. I'm just not. I know a lot of people love the IUD and swear by it. I know a lot of people like the one that goes on your arm, had bad experiences with it and got off of it. I don't want none of that. I'm like, if I can't take the pill or the depot, which I was on before, I don't want it. And another thing is, I really don't even want birth control now at this point, because I just need to detox that out of my body. My body is going through too much to have that extra layer. But anyway, the year we're fast forwarding now. That was in 2019. We fast forward to 2021, and we are buying this house. So my husband and I decided to buy this house, and while we are going through the house buying process, guess who gets pregnant? And this time when I got pregnant, it was kind of like an accident, but it was on purpose. That's how I can explain it. It was an accident, but it was on purpose. And if you can understand that, then you understand. If you know, you know. If you don't, then I just can't explain it. I can't explain it. But anyway, I gets pregnant, and mind you, when I had the conversation about having a pregnancy and it being high risk, that was when I was in Ohio, and I had my Ohio doctors, and my Ohio doctors was amazing, and I miss having that level of greatness when it comes to doctors. So when I tell my doctor here, like, okay, I'm pregnant and I know it's going to be a high risk pregnancy, so we need to do whatever it is we need to do, and you know what I'm saying, so this can be a safe pregnancy for me. And down here, which is different from Ohio, I'm in Florida. So in Ohio, I had my primary care doctor. She was also my OBGYN. She was everything. And then I had a rheumatologist that I went to, and they were all in the same network. It was just really easy breezy. It was like they knew me. It was very just an easy experience. It didn't feel like, here, my doctor that I picked was a primary care doctor, and she also does pap smears. But when it came to dealing with pregnancy, she was like, oh no, you will have to go to an OBGYN and have them deal with that. Like, you would have to go to a doctor that's specifically for pregnancy. And I'm like, damn, that's how y'all do it down here? And she was like, yeah. So I tried to get into a pregnancy center, and when I tell you, I was trying to explain to them my situation. Like, I have lupus. This is going to be a high-risk pregnancy. I need to see a doctor ASAP. I want to make sure everything is okay. They like, no, you got to wait your 6 weeks. We're not seeing nobody before 6 weeks. And we're not doing this. We're not doing that. Da, 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 da. So basically I had to wait. Like, no one would get me in. I called a few places and I just could not get in. What I should have did was went to the emergency room, I think. That I just looking back and feeling like, what else could I have done? And I'd be feeling like maybe I should have went to the emergency room. But anyway, I waited until my doctor's appointment. And mind you, like I said, we was going through the house buying process. So I literally closed on my house on March the 31st. My birthday is March the 28th. We closed on our house on March the 31st. And I went to the doctor I went to the doctor, I want to say like a week after we moved in. And that's when I found out. Yeah, I think it was a week after. It was a week after we moved in. Or was it 2 weeks? I want to say the first week that we moved in the house, I felt pregnant. I felt it. I felt it in every way that you can feel pregnant. I felt it. And then I want to say maybe a week or two later, I was able to go to the doctor finally. I went to the doctor, and when I went, they told me that I had a miscarriage. I was pregnant with twins, and the heartbeat stopped at 8 weeks. So I was mad as fuck, because I'm like, if y'all could have just got me in earlier. Like, I was trying to explain to them like what my doctor in Ohio told me, you know. I was just trying to explain to them, like, you know, I know that lupus will attack the pregnancy, and that's why I really wanted to get in early. So I was just really hurt, and what hurt me the most is finding out that I was pregnant with twins, and that was just so fucking devastating. So that was just another fucking blow. And then after that, you know, we living in this house and everything like that. Everything was going pretty good. I was trying to get myself, you know, just get myself back into a healthy space, trying not to fall into a depression, because that's another thing that lupus and having autoimmune illnesses will do to you. It will put you into a depression. And also having anxiety is another thing that I have picked up, is just having a lot of freaking anxiety. And just depression is just like, you know, you going through all of this stuff back to back to back. Like, you just, when you think like, okay, hopefully this year nothing happens, and then something else turn around and happens. So moving forward, it was, I believe it was 23. Is when I started really having a flare. I had a very long lupus flare, and I started working at a Disney resort. And was that in 24? No, that was in 23. Yeah, 23. So I started working at a Disney resort, and at this resort I was working half inside and half outside. Where I was working at a desk. The desk was like right outside of the door to the office that I was working in. And to make a long story short, I had a flare from just being in the heat. So my lupus flare just went crazy. I got extremely sick. I couldn't eat. I was just feeling like I wanted to pass out all the time. I was feeling depressed. It was just a lot going on in my body that I just did not even know like what was going on. I went to the doctor, and the doctor tried to misdiagnose me again. I was very adamant about how I was feeling, what I was feeling, and what I was thinking, what was going on with me. And finally the doctor was like, okay, we'll give you a blood test to see what's going on. Once I described to the doctor like everything that was going on and how I couldn't eat and how, you know, I had gained a lot of weight, and then I started losing weight because I couldn't eat. It was just a lot going on. And we finally did a blood test, and it came back that I had celiac disease. Finding out that I had celiac disease, that was a devastating blow to me, and I am still actually trying to learn to live with it. And this happened, I found out January of 2024 is when I got the diagnosis of the celiac disease. This was more devastating than anything. This was more devastating than anything because I literally had to, like, with lupus, yeah, I needed to change the way that I was living and the way that I was doing things as far as my health. But with celiac disease, it was like, okay, you can't play. You cannot play around. This is serious. And I literally had to just completely switch the way that I ate overnight. Like, literally, like, and what pisses me off about this is no one will understand this unless you go through it personally. You know, people be like, you know, oh, we'll just look at the bright side. You can eat healthy. You know, most people need to eat healthy and don't. But now you can eat healthy and it'll be better for you. I don't want to hear none of that shit. None of it. Because it's just, this has just been so hard for me to deal with. So hard for me to learn. Like, I guess my mind just ain't letting me accept it fully. Like, I accept it because I ain't got no choice. But it's like, I think mentally my mind is just playing a trick on me where it's just like, we just not accepting this right now. Like, fuck this. Like, we not about to deal with this. But I ain't got no choice but to deal with it. You know, it's like, I can't eat. If you don't know what celiac disease is, I definitely will put something on the screen to break it down for you. But I basically am allergic to wheat. It's an allergy. It's more than an allergy. But I am allergic to anything that have wheat in it. I can't eat anything that has wheat in it. Barley or rye. And when you look at everything that we eat has wheat in it, it's just like, damn, like, I really have to learn a new way to eat. And I feel like it's harder for me to accept because it's more so forced on me than something that I can control. And this has just been the hardest thing, dealing with these illnesses that I'm going through. This has been the hardest thing. You know, lupus is hard. Dealing with lupus is hard. You know, I have to deal with me not having hair like I used to have hair. My hair used to be down my back. You know what I'm saying? And it still can be down my back, but I got 1,000 bald spots all throughout my head. You know what I'm saying? Just dealing with me, even with lupus, being allergic to the sun. Like, the sun literally drains the life out of me. That's how it feels. If I'm standing in the sun for too long, it literally feels like it is draining the life out of me. I get sick. I need air. I can't breathe. I get nauseous. I get dizzy. I feel like I'm gonna pass out if I am standing in the sun too long. If I get overheated, if I have too much heat on me. It's just a lot of little things that I have to deal with that people don't understand or you know, just even realize. I have a lot of issues with my joints. even walking sometimes. Like a lot of times I get on camera and people see me, you know, just living life like it's nothing wrong, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes I am going through a lot. I am in pain. I am dealing with all kind of different pains, and then I gotta think, is this fibromyalgia? Is this lupus? Is this something that's from the celiac? Did I eat something wrong? Did I get contaminated with gluten? Like, it's just constant crap. And so moving on from the celiac disease, you know, like I said, I found out I was sick for the whole year of 2023. I was sick. I had gained so much weight, and then it was like when I was sick and I didn't realize I was sick, and once my body couldn't take it no more, that's when it just exploded. And it was like, okay, I knew I had to see a doctor, you know what I'm saying? And that's when we found out about celiac disease. Now, me finding out about the fibromyalgia is one day I decided I wanted to go out and do some Uber rides and Lyft rides. So I went out, and I was out for maybe like 8 hours, and probably 8 to 10 hours just riding. Like when I got tired and stuff, I get out the car, stretch, or, you know, I'll go get something to eat, or, you know, stop and take a break, do whatever, use the bathroom, whatever I had to do. But one day I was out there riding, and my body just went into complete pain. My body was just in so much pain. It started with my shoulders up here, and then it went down to my back, like my lower back right above my butt, and then on the sides of my butt, my sides, my elbows. It was just all in my knees, it was just pain in all these spots, so bad. And I'm just like, okay, what the fuck? Why am I having all these pain? Like, why am I having all this pain? So I was like, okay, I need to go ahead and call my doctor. I called the doctor, go to the doctor, y'all. And they was like, my doctor was like, yeah, everything you're describing to me sounds like fibromyalgia. So, fibromyalgia. So instantly, I just feel like I just went into a depression. Like, what the fuck? Again, something else. Like, why every damn year is something? Like, every fucking year. Like, every time I just try to tell myself, like, Steph, you're gonna be alright, we're gonna get through this year, you're gonna get healthy, something else fucking happens, and I'm tired of this shit. Like, I want this stuff to stop, you know. But yeah, so that is where we are at now, dealing with the fibromyalgia. I had a scare at the beginning of this year with finding some lumps in my chest, and they were just cysts. But I do have to go and get another mammogram to get, you know, they keep an eye on everything. So I am going to get another mammogram. But that was a big scare for me this year too, at the beginning of the year. But you know, I am human. I do get nervous, but at the end of the day, I truly believe that I am blessed and highly favored. I believe in God, and I have faith, and I walk by faith, not by sight. So I'm always going to be prayed up, you know what I'm saying? And I'm always going to continue to try to better myself, better my life, and better my health. So that's my lupus update for this year, you know, just trying now. I am dealing with not only the lupus, but still trying to figure out how to manage my celiac disease, and just trying to find a routine of eating healthy. With the celiac disease, I have lost a lot of weight. I was at my heaviest moving to Florida, which was at 186. That was the heaviest that I was at my whole life. I am 5'1" and a half. I'm 5'1" and a half, 5'2" on a good day. But I was 186 at my heaviest, and then when I had, right before I started losing weight, where I, like before the whole celiac thing came into place, I had got down to like 176. And so I would say I was 176, and I went all the way down to about 135. So that is a drastic 41 pound lost. Now, I did want to lose weight, but I didn't want to lose weight the way that I lost weight. And the way that I lost weight was because when I got the celiac disease, I not only couldn't eat the way that I used to eat, my whole taste buds and my stomach, everything just flipped, everything changed. So it's like my appetite started falling off. I just couldn't eat the way I used to eat. Couldn't eat certain things. I was trying to find things to replace how I used to eat. It took me a while to find a pasta that I liked that wasn't disgusting. It took me a while to find a bread. It took me a while for my taste buds to accept a new kind of bread. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these gluten-free products are not great, and I'm starting to find a lot that are good when it comes to bread and pasta and things like that. Crackers, you know what I'm saying, cake, it's been hit and miss with a lot of stuff, but I have started to find a lot of stuff that I do like. But it's my whole taste buds is just not the same no more. This shit just really changed the way that I eat. And then also what played a part in my weight loss as well is when I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, my doctor had gave me some medicine. I was going back and forth on if I wanted to take this medication, and I finally decided to take the medication because I was in so much pain that, I am typically the type of person that I research my medication. I don't take just anything. I take what I need to take, and I make sure that this is a need. I make sure that it don't have a lot of crazy side effects. Like with my lupus medication, I gotta take that for the rest of my life, and I take it, and I know what I'm taking. I know, but for this fibromyalgia medicine, this is a whole different ball game, and this medication it's just a different ball game. And when I took this medication, I was going off of, I'm in pain. I don't want to hear nothing nobody got to say. Ain't nobody going through this shit. I'm going through this shit. I had my husband tell me not to take this medication. I didn't have friends tell me, you shouldn't take this medication. We heard bad things about this medication. And my ass was just in so much pain that I was like, you know what? I am taking this medication because nothing is helping me right now, and I need help. So I took the medication, and I was like, okay, it's helping a little bit, And then the medication started to show its true colors, because it started to make me lose weight even more rapidly than I was with just being celiac. So I started losing weight rapidly, and I'm like, okay, this is not where it's at. I'm not trying to lose this much weight. So I started doing more research about the medication, and I just started seeing all this shit that I know for a fact that I would not, if I was in my right mind and not in excruciating pain, I knew I wouldn't have took that medication. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to wing yourself off of this. You can't just stop it. You can't just say, oh, I'm about to stop taking this pill today. It don't work like that, because it will mess you up more than you was messed up before you got on the damn medication. So anyway, my doctor, my main doctor, which I have said before, if you watch me, that I want to change my doctors, because this doctor, she went from being nice to like, I just feel like she's giving me real fucked up vibes. Like, I don't like her energy. I don't like how she's coming at me. I don't like how she's trying to force me to take certain medications where I'm telling her I don't feel comfortable with taking this medication, or I don't want to take this medication because I don't like the side effects to it, you know. So anyway, when I told her I wanted to stop taking this medication, she was like, just stop taking it. And I know for a fact you can't just stop taking this medication. So I didn't like that. I didn't like how she tried to play me like that. So I was just like, you know what? So I ended up seeing another doctor in her office, and me and the other doctor came up with a plan on how I can slowly stop taking this medication. And that is where I'm at now. Now I do talk about medical marijuana a lot because I am a true believer in what medical marijuana can do for a person. And it's like, I am a believer in the not just medical marijuana, but any kind of medicinal herbs that can help heal you. You know, I talk about, you know, ginger and turmeric a lot, and, you know, sea moss. It's a lot of other herbs out there that are healing herbs as well, that helps a lot as well. But I'm also in love with Mary Jane. And Mary Jane has helped me in many ways. It has helped me with pain. It has helped me with my anxiety, calming me down, going through all of this medical issues, like all of these medical issues that I have been going through. It has given me quite a bit of anxiety and depression on top of that. And I will say that having Mary a part of my life has helped me tremendously with that. Especially the pain. And I use Mary in multiple different ways. I don't just use it to smoke. I use it to smoke. I use it to eat with. I use it in my teas. I use it, I have simple syrups. Use it to cook with, making canna butters, canna oils, edibles. But I am a firm believer in the plant and plant medicine, and I will 100% pick plant medicine every time over what the doctors is giving me, because I feel like a lot of that stuff is just, it just makes the problem worse, or it adds another problem that you never had even to begin with, you know what I'm saying? And right now, as far as the fibromyalgia go, I'll continue to manage my pain with either medical marijuana. They also have different topicals, like it's they have different creams with medical marijuana in it, so that way it can soothe spots that are hurting or whatever like that. So I'm definitely am using the plant in every way that I can possibly use it in. But yeah, that is where I'm at in my journey right now. The things that I am going to try to do, like I have different goals that I want to reach, and this year my goals that I want to reach concerning my health is just really trying to fight through my fatigue. Like I have a lot of lupus fatigue where I am always tired. I don't want to do nothing. I don't have energy to do nothing. And I always be like, yeah, I'm lazy. I always try to play it off like I'm just lazy right now, or I'm being lazy and I need to stop being lazy. But at the end of the day, it's not always laziness. It is very much so lupus fatigue, and it is hard. It is hard, like when you are always tired, and no matter how much sleep that you get, or you know, you can't get sleep. I have a problem where I have insomnia too. I can stay up for days. I can stay up for days in a row, and be up and just and it's not, that is not healthy at all. So I want to work on things like that, and you know, just ways to manage my health better. And my biggest thing that I need to work on is just how to manage my relationship with food, because right now, dealing with this celiac disease, my relationship with food is just really not good. And I just really need to learn how to, just a new menu for me, what I like, things that I need to try, things that can get me through the week as far as like lunch ideas. You know what I'm saying? I just need to really really do it, and you know, stop fighting this. It's like I'm not trying to fight myself on this. It's just some type of mental thing that I'm going through. I don't know, but this should not be this hard for me. I know it shouldn't, but I don't know what is causing me to have such a hard time with food right now. With this celiac disease, it's really hurting me. And the next step that I do want to do is, I feel like I do need to speak with a counselor just about how to deal with these autoimmune issues. You know what I'm saying? I really have to sit here and deal with lupus, celiac disease, and fibromyalgia, you know, and I have to deal with constantly explaining to people, or just not even explaining at all, or you know, constantly dealing with people that just don't understand. And it's hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was literally about to skip out on a friend's birthday because I'm just like, I'm not gonna have fun because of my illness. But it's not fair to my friend for me to skip out on her birthday. She was there for me for my birthday. But because I don't want to, like, I'm not going to be able to participate in the festivities, I feel like, why should I even be there? And it's all mental, because it's like this shit, these illnesses get to me in that way where it's just like, damn, you know, I'm getting depressed about not even going to my friend's birthday party because I'm depressed about not being able to be a part of the festivities because of the fucking celiac disease. And you know, it's just like little shit like that. And I know some people might not get it, and you know what I'm saying, and you know, some people be like, you know, you should be there for your friend no matter what, which I am. You know, I am going to show my face. I'm just not going to go at the time of the activities that they're doing that I can't be a part of, because it's like, I just don't even want to watch them doing that. But yeah, I'm still going to go and show my support, but it's just like having to deal with stuff like that. And even like with the celiac disease, just learning how to deal with traveling, like going anywhere. Like, I literally have to start packing me a lunch with me to go anywhere. I can't just go over my family house and go to a cookout and think I'm about to eat somebody's food. It don't work like that, because everybody is not thinking about how they have to cook. I have to make sure there is no fucking gluten in anything that I eat, because it can mess me up. And other people do not have that in their mind, because they're not thinking about gluten. They ain't never heard of gluten, or they don't know what celiac disease is, so they don't have to worry about not putting wheat in their food. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even with going over people's houses, I'll be like, damn, I can't even just go over a family member's house and eat. You know, I can't even just go out. Like, even though I don't even eat fast food like that, say if I was out and about and I wanted to stop and get something, I can't even just do that normally. So yes, it is taking a while for me to get this celiac disease under control, like, or get it, just to learn how to deal with it. It's taking me a fucking while, and I just want to get past this. I want to get past this, and I want to do better. So that is another goal of mine going into this new year. I just pray for good health, and I just pray that I'm able to keep moving. And like I said, I know I'm blessed and highly favored, And you know, every day that I wake up is another chance to get it right, and just to do the best that I can to try to get it right. So that is my updated lupus story, featuring celiac disease and fibromyalgia. If you have any questions for me, if you want to know any more information, you can leave me a comment down below. Like I said, this was a shortened version of a longer story. I didn't tell y'all every detail and everything, but I told y'all the most important parts of my life and what I have went through over these last couple of years, and just a couple of goals that I have that I want to reach, and you know, just me learning how to cope and deal with the things that I'm going through. And I really feel like counseling is a must, and I will be getting that sooner than later. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I'll see y'all in the next vloggy vlog.